Hello, Zach. You're up next.
Hey Bart,
How's it going?
it's going good. How about you?
Pretty good. Thanks for the late add-on here, Zach.
Sure.
And you got a hand that's a kind of a big hand, right? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, from Florida. This is a private game. It's a 10-10 game, but pretty much $25 straddle is on 90% of the hands.
Okay. And how deep are you?
About 6K deep.
In a private game.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
Like a golfer's game?
Not quite. No, they run these at different card rooms in Florida. It's just, it's a run private. Like you can't just show up to the card room and get a seat.
Okay. So it's good. A good game.
Yeah, very good game.
Okay.
It's about 7 or 8 handed at the moment here.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start with pre-flop action.
Yep.
This hand there is a button straddle to 25.
Okay.
The small blind raises to 100. He's a very aggressive player. He's, I would say, a for-profit player. He's a winner in this game. He raises, like I said, he raises to 100. It folds to me in middle position, and I have queen of spades, queen of clubs, and I raise to 325.
So obviously it's just going in order, right?
Yep.
From the small blind, right? Not any of this like Houston last action crap. So you have queen of hearts, queen of spades, is that right?
Queen of clubs, queen of spades.
Queen of clubs, queen of spades. So black queens, you 3-bet from MP1 to 325. Small blind, by the way, you're 8-handed. I mean, that's a very, very tight raise, right? First act.
It is. He is pretty loose pre-flop. So, and if he's entering the flop, he's going to be raising. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously his position increases the strength of his hand for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tad on the small side, but at this stack depth with a value hand, but okay. 325, yep.
Yep. And it folds back to the small blind and he calls or heads up.
Okay.
So the flop is 6 of spades, 5 of clubs, 2 of hearts.
6 of spades, 5 of clubs, 2 of hearts. Okay.
Yep. And the small blind checks, and I bet 225, and he calls.
So, depending on how you think this guy constructs this like mega one hole raise, like Phil Hellmuth says in the one hole, he said like in the WSOP, this board shouldn't really be all that relevant to either of you. And
Right.
and when that is the case, you're usually allowed to go larger with big pairs.
Okay.
Now-
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you will see a larger sizing reflected here. I mean, you can always kind of dink and dunk 1/3 with the entire thing, but I think the theory would say that you're probably supposed to go larger, like 2/3 the pot here. I will say that you do want to encourage like some ace high types of calls. Do you think this guy would have like 6s, 5s, or deuces here?
He could have 6s or 5s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some portion of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as he has some of that nut advantage, then, the theory says that you're supposed to go a little bit smaller. But okay, so you go 225 and he calls, and now the pot is 1125. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
So the turn is the 7 of hearts.
So the turn is the 7 of hearts. So the board is 6 of spades, 5 of clubs, deuce of hearts. And now the turn is the 7 of hearts. Okay.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So he checks. I decided to bet 900. And he thinks for a while, and then he raises to 2400.
So you went small, large
Yep.
on the turn.
Yep.
And what are you trying to target here on the turn?
I'm trying to target over pairs smaller than mine. So 9s, 10s, jacks.
Uh-huh. So he goes to 2,400. You guys started with 6,000. So I mean, it's a kind of a small raise. It's just like 2.5x here, right? So if you make the call, the pot will be 6,000 and you'll have like 3,000 left, right?
Yep. Correct.
I mean, yeah, I mean, this one's kind of close. I mean, see, the thing is that when you went 225, I mean, I guess it's 1/3. I'm just trying to think of like, you didn't go so small that you're going to see like huge reflection, but yeah, 225, you should see some of these Broadway, 2 overcard, Broadway, backdoor heart draw types of hands. You don't have the Queen of Hearts. So I was talking about like Queen Jack, King, Queen of Hearts, something like that, that would choose to check raise here. Of course, you're losing to like 6s and 7s here too.
Yeah.
And then what other combo draw types of holdings here might make this play would be like what? Like ace 4 with the backdoor on the flop. Obviously, super combo draw.
Yeah.
Would be like ace 4 of hearts, ace 8 of hearts. But he could also do it too with the ace 8 with any backdoor. So that's 3 suited ace 8. There's 3 more suited ace 4, 6. Some of the Broadway heart. I mean, this is if he's structuring correctly. 3, 6. Some of this is like maybe like 10 types of like combo draws. And then obviously there's like 3 combos of sets. I mean, for very, very thick value here. I mean, and then does he have 8, 9 suited here too? I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, I could kind of see this as like, here's the thing. Like if you were to count the optimal approach to like combos, you could almost sort of split this off where it's like, he could have just as many draws as value, in which case you getting pot odds, you probably should continue. The only thing is that the draws have a lot of equity against you, and the thick hands almost have you drawing dead. Correct. I mean, if you did this like as just a quick like equal combos average, if you're up against like sets, right, you've got like 5%, and let's say that like an average that you're up against like combo draws, like you're 70%, right, or 65%. We'll make that easy. So what's your equity? It would be 70 divided by 2 would be 35%, right? If it was equal combos of mega draws where you have 65% equity, and then sets where you have like 5% equity, it's 35%, right?
And then what about aces and kings also?
That too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that starts to weight it towards other types of holdings. And then the other question here too is if you continue, like, should you just continue with the jam?
Right. That was my thought process during the hand was I don't know how I can just call. And then I don't know what folds I can find on the river. And of course, if he misses his draw, he's going to almost certainly give up.
Well, you don't necessarily know that, but you don't want to give him like a free... Yeah, you don't want him to give up. You want him to call off, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how would you look at the math then? Then you would just treat this as a shove, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, I mean, in that case, you're flipping your pot odds around. So now you go 900 into 11, the pot's like 2,000. He's got 54 left. This is how I would look at it, right? So the pot's 74, and it would be like, 45 for you to call. That ends up with around 12,000 in the pot. So, right? So,
yeah, right.
What did I just say? 45. I said, I just said the math. Now I can't remember.
The pot is 74 and 45 to call.
74, 45 to call. So that's what, 1.5 to, was it about a little more than 1.5 to 1?
Yeah.
So you'd need probably high 30s in equity, 37, 38%, something like that.
Right.
I mean, that's how we would do it out. That's how we would do it out. I can't tell you like the tendencies and how often. I mean, I can tell you that, check raises and 3-bet pots in live poker usually tend to be more weighted towards value here.
Yeah.
I was liberally saying half draws and half value at 35%. You start adding aces and kings in here, then you're probably looking at 2/3 value, and 1/3 draws is a more accurate thing. So then if it's 2/3 value and 1/3 draws, now you're looking at 5 plus 5 plus 65 is 75 divided by 3. to get your structured average, which is like 25%. You can see how bad shape you're in, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a fold.
Yeah, I felt like it was really close, and it was one of my longest tanks I've had in all year almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7-8 of diamonds. I mean, again, like the more you put in there, I don't know. Does 7-8 of diamonds, does that take that for a, I mean, I guess they're at half pot, so it's kind of the same thing where some of these hands from your opponent's perspective might do the same thing as you do. Where they're like, well, if I have 7-8 here and I have top pair and open-ended, like I don't want to just give my opponent a free shot at something. Or if you turn backdoor hearts, right? I mean, the counter to that is if you were running a stiff ace of hearts bluff where you were going to bluff the river, where you were going to continue to fire as a bluff.
Right, like ace queen with ace of hearts.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Because like once you call, like it's half. So it's what did you end up doing?
Like I said, I tanked for several minutes. I ended up folding reluctantly. And that was the end of the hand. Later, after the night was over, I asked him what he had, and he said he had aces.
Aces.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that you got to really worry about here, right?
Yeah.
Besides sets, is if someone is trapping you, right? Pre.
Yeah.
And because, we said, oh, there's 3 combos of sets, 7s and 6s. We don't even know how many he has, but I mean, there's 6 combos of aces, right?
Right.
And there's 6 combos of kings. So, and if they have those hands, it's just like they have a set. You have the same equity, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. Yeah, I think I like your fold.
Okay. Yeah, it really felt bad folding with that hand on that board given the action. But yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Thanks for the call, Zach. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Bart.
All right.